Alright, your main man's promised you this video for an epoch of time, and the stars are aligned. So now we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons and how I do sorcerers in Dungeons and Dragons. Now, I want to say, first of all, when I first looked at the 3.0 book, the first time I saw it and I looked through, I saw a barbarian. And I was like, hell yeah. And then I saw half-orc. I was like, hell yeah. That has nothing to do with sorcerers, but that's what I saw. That's what I played. And I had a spiked shade because I had a feat. And I was like, oh, I could get that? That's awesome. All right. So, several times later, when I looked through the Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook 3.0, I saw the sorcerer class and I went, what the fuck's this? As I saw a wizard. So I looked at it and I read it and went, oh, that's a pretty interesting idea. Then I read it, more thoroughly through, and I went, whoa, this is really poorly executed. This is the very first impression I had. Cool idea, poorly executed. The more I learned about the rule set for 3.0 and 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons, the more poorly executed I thought the sorcerer class was. First of all, so let's break it down how your main man is going to do this. And when initially I looked at designing a D20 game, when Within Rim of Fire was originally on a D20 engine, and for those of you that see any correlation or comparison to Dungeons and Dragons, that would be exactly why, because that was originally my point, to prove to that cunt Sam Wise Tim that no, Dungeons and Dragons D20 system can produce an immersive style game. He said it couldn't. I said it could. He was right. It couldn't. I had to scrap about 8 months of work. Yeah, D20 engine not so good for creating RPG art design for killing owlbears, I guess. But we're going to talk about the sorcerer and what I looked at. Once I really learned the rules, and sorcerers have the definition of what they do is the definition of spell-like ability. Spell-like ability is way different from spells in a whole bunch of ways. It's not. It uses different, feats and all sorts of deals. So right off the bat, if I'm running D&D again, which, let's face it, I'm probably not. But if I'm playing in a D&D game, which, we'll probably try talking to running Within Rim of Fire because, it's a lot more fun for me, that's for sure. But let's just say I am. That's what I'm going to put everything. Look, yeah. Listen. And I'm going to make my point in my case to run a sorcerer just like this. First of all, you don't have spells, you have spell-like ability. Second of all, you really got to tighten it up. Like, just here, pick any spell you want. Turns into, I throw magic missiles because I'm born from a dragon. And I'm like, hold on, I have questions here. I have questions. I have real questions, First of all, cinematically, you want to make those things look more like draconic abilities. Think, what does a dragon do? Maybe you cast fly and dragon wings come out of your back. You don't have to go, I'm Superman, like a wizard would. Or you have burning hands, and you're just shooting burning hand like a little minor breath weapon. And, we're getting it more cinematically to look like dragon. Spell to use your natural attack. Maybe you get like these big dragon fangs or dragon claws, or you have like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a spell that's a wizard. I'm just pulling up pre-spells on mine, but something that gives you like an armor class bonus. It's like how you get these draconic scales or whatever, and you can take that over and over for different types of creatures you can be descended from. And that didn't come up in Pathfinder. There were some OGL books that before Pathfinder was out that had those deals. I think Pathfinder did a better job with sorcerers than D&D did, but that wasn't. I don't know how you could do a worse job. Maybe if they didn't have any kind of magic at all, and they were like a class that focused on the crossbow, maybe that would be worse. But realistically, with any degree of intelligence, I think it would be been difficult to have done a worse job with them from a mechanical standpoint. I thought they were just horrible, and then from a play execute standpoint, they became horrible too. And they became a weird mix for a lot of the goofy power gamers, and you guys, a lot of you are going to know way more about this than I do. But you would have these builds, and it makes my liver quiver, baby, to even think about builds. Because right off the bat, you're like, I don't have a character. And I'm like, but you need a character to play. I don't have a character. I just have a collection of stats that I pulled off the internet from someone else to utterly optimize and power game and not to be realistic or real, which is exactly what I should be trying to do. But we'll get a sorcerer level to use of scrolls or whatever. And you guys know about that stuff. It's out there. Don't look for it, please. Don't look for it. Don't take sanity points. through your RPG experience. But you give them spell-like abilities. You get thematic, and that's not really a difficult thing to do. You're like, look, I had this weird encounter with a vampire, and now I have, you know, this some magic from a vampire. And I'm going to do these spells, but look, I'm going to make this spell look like this. I'm going to make this spell look like this. Maybe I'll even lessen a spell. Yeah, I got a magic missile, right? But my magic missile, it does cold damage instead of balling ass. Magic missile can be defeated force damage, or whatever. You know, you're making your stuff like your mage armor. You know, my mage armor. Let me change it to do this, and particularly again, like okay, let me remember my magic missile, which I don't think you should have because that's been done to death with sorcerers. But just for example, you say, oh, let me make my magic missile a little weaker. Let me make my armor a little bit stronger. Let me make that duration a little bit more, and it just kind of, you know, it comes on me like this sort of hide, and my face changes, and it's vampiric, and now maybe I get a +1 intimidate bonus. And just float on your game master. Look, I'm gonna play with things a little bit differently, make them a little different. Or maybe you have mage armor, and I kind of hate around lasting. I hate stuff like that. It's such a problem, but because to me it's like it either ends or you're just doing it for like a scene. Because it makes running a game and playing games so much easier. Oh, I forgot my bless spell wore off 8 rounds ago. Forgot about that, and I've been using the bonus. Well, wait a minute, what did that just do to our suspended disbelief? I don't know. So, you know, that's a problem. It happens a lot. And the solves for that are terrible. Hey, let's put condition cards and rubber bands around our miniatures. No. Let's just make a system that works more in a streamlined, sensical fashion. So, for me, you know, I want to have that spell ability. I want to have it thematic. Go in there and play with them a little bit. You know, maybe your mage armor lasts longer, but it gives you like a +2 natural armor class bonus for the scene, and you get like a +2 to intimidate. Because now you look like it changed your face. You know, you look like a dragon, or you look like a vampire, or a troll, or whatever your kind of gimmick is. And take those spells and kind of use them in that fashion. And then additionally, I would give the player some you know, when they hit levels and stuff, either every level or every 3 levels, however you want to do it, you know, depending on how powerful. If you're running Pathfinder, you'd probably want to do it every level. Just give the character some little special abilities. Like, oh yeah, I have, you know, X, Y, or Z special. My armor class starts increasing naturally, or get some claws, and a lot of them can be double-edged too, because you're like, oh, you look like a fucking monster now. I'll let you in town. And that's the way I've been doing sorcerers for many years. And it gives you, you know, different kind of feats you can use, and you know, you can like quicken up some of those spells. You know, you can do more stuff. I also think it's not really the worst idea to give them like a 3/4 base attack bonus. Because again, I mean, if you look back at the video I did on Wizards, you type in WWED and Wizards, maybe Wizards D&D. Anyway, you'll find it. You can see the way I put them together, and they work so much better. Trust me, advancing magic is horrible, and freeing yourself from it will work better. But you know, that's generally how I would do sorcerers. I give them like a 3/4 base attack bonus with the same hit points, or you keep them the same base attack bonus and like make their hit points just a little bit better. I think a sorcerer should be able to fight better than a wizard. It just seems to make sense to me. And I soup wizards up well enough anyway, and I require them sort of thematically justify all their spells. So we can pick anything. Well, yeah, but you made this concept, so how does it make sense to your concept? And we can wiggle room it a little. We can change the spell around a little bit to make it more cool. But like if your whole deal is, you know, you're a cold from a line of some cold elemental, well, I don't see why you're throwing magic missiles or fireballs. You know, let's change these things around and make them make a little bit more sense. And you know, I thought one thing I did like that they gave them all simple weapons. You could give them that, or you give them all simple weapons and maybe like one martial weapon. And you create a kind of interesting character when you have like a 3/4 base attack bonus and you're giving them one martial weapon, but you still have like a D4 or even a D6 hit points, because you're not like, you know, it's not like you're a rogue and have killer sneak attack damage, or you know, even like a fortitude save bonus, something like that. But you're going to get a few little combat increases. You know, you get claws or fangs or some horns or some armor class bonuses, but they're not. It's not substantial enough to really do the deal. And also, I never gave them the free feats, but you could buy as feats. Like, I don't see any reason a sorcerer couldn't wear armor. So, you know, I just let them, because it's a spell-like ability. Why would that be affected by armor? Particularly light armor, or is it called light armor? God, I can't remember now. Let's see, light, medium, and heavy. Yeah. So light armor, something like that. Or you say, okay, well, you could just wear natural armor, like a druid, for example. However you wanted to tailor it to make it really specific to your game. But I think it's really quintessential to divide the fact that they aren't casting spells. They're not an arcanist who's sitting down there and obsessing on a cult and learning from scrolls and rituals and doing these things. They're a guy who's born with the blood of magic. It's like almost like a Jedi, really. They have this natural thing inside them. A wizard is through, obviously, aptitude and intelligence and this genius combined to with a tremendous amount of learning to produce that. And I think overall the wizard in a lot of ways would be superior. But the sorcerer may well be the son of a god. And he has that charisma. He has that potency. And he's like, yeah, what's good now, bitch? And I think he should have a lot more openness. Have his magic there as part of him. And I think he should have another sort of scope of abilities to give him a bit more of a difference from a wizard. And I think that's really important to carry it off. Sorcerer should always be built in a way to be cool, to bring that cool points over, because that's what it is. It's like, hey, look, all right, you're a fighter, and you're a wizard, and you're a cleric, and you're a thief, and I'm cool. I'm really cool, because guess what? My granddad was fucking God. How about that? My granddad's fucking God, or a dragon, or a drunk lich, or whatever it is. Your dad was what? Oh, you don't even know. You don't even know your granddad was. It's not written down in your character sheet. It's written down on mine. I got a family legacy, a lineage, and you want to play it. You want to take all those abilities, all those details, and bring them simmer into the surface and make a really interesting soup. And that's where the best thing our class can do for you is to give you more details, more background, more ideas, more interests, more dynamic possibilities. That's really cool. That makes a character very, very interesting and unique. And that's what you want to do. After all, you want to make your character different. You don't want to make your character the same. And sadly, sorcerers sometimes seem the same. It's like, there's a dragon or something back there, I don't know. And also magic missile. Oh, what's good now? And I'm going to take a bunch of other classes because the sorcerer class kind of sucks and I don't get my spells as quick as wizards do. So I'm just going to do this and that, and now I'm power gaming. So I'm going to avoid that. And to me, a sorcerer would definitely be like a 1 to 20 type class. I've always thought that Scion types, of course, you remember Thunder Ring of Fire. Boy, you get a lot of that stuff. Pathfinder had a lot of problems with the way they did sorcerers because they use bloodlines too, and all a sorcerer is a bloodline. It's like an ASMR. It's like, I'm an ASMR sorcerer. It's like, well, that's fucking redundant. So you have the blood of an angel and also the blood of an angel. The fuck sense does that make? It's kind of wonky. It's like, yes, my grandfather was an angel, and mine too. I'm an ASMR. Well, I'm a human with angelic bloodline. Yeah, but we're brothers. Wonderful. So, yeah, I could pull a rationale out for that, but it's not easy, and it's gonna have some holes in it, and I kind of thought that was sort of an either or kind of deal. But I will have to say it's one thing I think Pathfinder did better than Dungeons and Dragons, and I have to find out what other OGLs. In fact, I'm not going to. But I know that came out with some other OGL games well before Pathfinder came out. But at any rate, they're sorcerers. Here's how I do them. You really want to focus on the spell-like abilities. I think that they should be a little better combatants. I think you should really focus on the cool factor, on that legacy, on that ever-growing factor. I mean, your class is basically just, this is my blood. This is manifesting me. As opposed to the skills of a fighter or something. And I think you keep them a little more flexible and you keep them a little more viable. You keep people involved in them. You keep that going from a 1 to a 20 kind of deal. It's like on the ultimate manifestation. There was a 3. I think even a 3.0 as well as a 3.5 prestige class, the Dragon Shaman. I would definitely say that's a good basis for looking at what one might become, whether they were a dragon or not. You say, okay, well, yeah, but he's from Therm, the king of the frost giants was his granddad, so let's change that and just kind of use that as a model, so we can kind of work the character that way, which I think creates a very interesting character that's unique and different, has a lot of special factor to it, while still being right out of the book. Of course, I just changed the hell out of it, but all the same, let me know in the comments below what you think about the changes, what you've done to sorcerers, how you've changed them, what you think about sorcerers, if you think they're straight bunk or if you love them as they are. Just let me know in the comments below.